What's up, guys? This is the Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. Now, guys, one of the criticisms that you hear so much to those of us who are vocal about all of the agenda that's going on with all of the things that we love and the virtue signaling, one of the criticisms we always get is that if you guys didn't talk about it, then they would go away. It wouldn't matter as much. Just shut up, they say. And I've always pushed back against that, because they always tell you, you're not doing any good. They're still going to make this stuff. Nobody's listening to you. You're just a vocal minority. Yeah, that's the way it's written up in the media. But for those of us who are paying attention, you do begin to see the differences. Because after all, guys, remember, we're paying customers, okay? You cannot ignore paying customers. That's the reason why they say the customer's always right. It's a very old saying. So that thought pattern that says that you should just shut up and take what you're given is just retarded, guys. And I know there's going to be some people out there like, why did he have to say retarded? Dude, shut up. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I mean, okay? So anyway, we have a good example of little baby steps being taken by Hollywood to acknowledge that maybe the way they're marketing these movies is a problem, okay? Now, you guys might remember something like 3 years ago, I did a video talking about Elizabeth Banks when she decided to reboot Charlie's Angels as some type of feminist movie, that was just like girl power and there's nothing wrong with girl power and stuff. But when she did it, she was also talking about how she was against the male gaze. You didn't need the male audience. This was for women. It's a feminist moment. Well, fast forward over 3 years later, and we have Elizabeth Banks coming out saying that she regrets the way that she marketed that movie. Yes, she regrets it. So let's get into this, guys. You have this article here in Variety.com, and it says here, me. It's early, and you know what my voice does in the morning, right? Because of the allergies. Elizabeth Banks regrets Charlie's Angels marketing. It wasn't a feminist manifesto. It was just an action movie, she says. And it goes on to say, looking back at the poor box office performance of her 2019 Charlie's Angels reboot, Elizabeth Banks has some regrets about the film's marketing. She says, I wish the movie had not been presented as just for girls because I didn't make it just for girls. Banks told the New York Times, oh, Elizabeth Banks, you're not being honest. Remember, I did this video over 3 years ago. I remember all the stuff you were saying. Okay, so she says, there was a disconnect on the marketing side of it for me. Banks said that when women do things in Hollywood, it becomes this story. There was a story around Charlie's Angels that I was creating some feminist manifesto. I was just making an action movie, she says. The Pitch Perfect 2 director added that she would have liked to have made Mission Impossible, but women aren't directing Mission Impossible. I was able to direct an action movie, frankly, because it starred women, and I'm a female director, and that is the confine right now in Hollywood. It's just a matter of proving yourself, I believe. Especially these days, there's plenty of call out there for women directors, for black directors, just every type of diversity you can name. So if you can get in there and you can just do the best that you can without doing some insane marketing where you're going to isolate and demonize half your audience, well, you stand a better chance of being successful. But these are the days where marketing means that you dump on men, specifically that you dump on white men, but men in general, because we see it across the board anyway. So it says here, Banks' Charlie's Angels reboot cost Sony and its co-financiers $48 million, but it floundered at North American box offices with only $8.6 million in its opening weekend. Ahead of its release, Banks told the Herald Sun back in 2019, if this movie doesn't make money, it reinforces a stereotype in Hollywood that men don't go see women do action movies. Now, where did we just hear this? We just heard this from Viola Davis when she was dropping the so-called Woman King. She said the exact same thing. Now, do you think maybe in 3 years, Viola Davis is going to feel stupid for what she did? I mean, look at that movie, guys. Look at the promotion for it. Look at Viola Davis. We are the homie. I thought I was watching Caesar, in Planet of the Apes. Ape, no, kill ape. I'm sorry. That's the way it came across. We are the homie. Nobody wants to see that, guys. But anyway, Despite it being a commercial flop, Banks says she's proud of the movie. So of course she's proud of the movie. Okay, she made the movie, so that's her vanity speaking, but it did bomb at the box office. And basically what I said 3 years ago is that when you pick up a property like Charlie's Angels, you have to be true to what the vision of that was. Okay, so she tried to make it some feminist thing, and now she's trying to say she just wanted it to be an action movie. That's not going far enough, Elizabeth Banks. You have to admit, the movie, Charlie's Angels, the property, was made for the male gaze. Back in the 70s when that show was on, they called it Jiggle TV, because all you ever saw was women in little skimpy bikinis running around, bouncing, all over the place, and everybody loved it. Men loved it. That's the way it was. If you had marketed it that way, you would have had a hit, because guess what? Men like looking at beautiful women, scantily clad, and women like looking at men the same way. All I have to do, I got 2 words for you: Henry Cavill. Oh, it got real moist in here all of a sudden. The humidity levels went up. Guess what? Men and women are attracted to each other. This is where Hollywood messes up, because you just forget who your audience is, what they want. You think you're going to dictate to us, the paying customer, and time after time you fail. I know a lot of you are tired of the saying, get woke, go broke, but you're beginning to see this being proved over and over and over again. A lot of us go to the movies for escapist fantasy fun. Okay, even if it's something gritty or something like that, we still just want to have fun, or we want to think, or whatever. You can have your little sprinkles of, messages in there and stuff like that, but you cannot overlook what the point of it is. Am I not entertained? That's what I want. I want entertainment more than, somebody's dictation about who I'm supposed to be as a man or whatever the case may be. So you have Elizabeth Banks taking baby steps. And I felt like this deserved to be talked about because, like I said, there's a lot of people out there who seem to think that we should just shut up and take what we're given, even though we're the ones paying money. How does that work? When you say that, you know that you're on the side of the big multi-billion-dollar corporations, right? Well, I stand for the little guy, the working guy who's paying out money that he worked for in overtime and mandatory overtime and triple overtime and all that stuff. And we should have a voice. So I'm glad that Elizabeth Banks is saying what she's saying. She's not going far enough, and it is over 3 years later, but hopefully we're getting to the point where people do begin to understand in Hollywood that fan service, number one, isn't a bad thing, especially when you're going into a established fan base, like Lord of the Rings or something like that. You don't get to just reinterpret it for your own social engineering experiments and all that stuff. So it seems like very slowly but surely we are taking baby steps and people are beginning to understand this. What do you guys think? You can get in the comment section and let me know. As always, you can like, you can share, and you can subscribe. Thank you guys for listening. I'll catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.